Inclusion of communities in Jammu and Kashmir Scheduled Tribes List. Why in news? The Indian government has introduced the Constitution, Jammu and Kashmir Scheduled Tribes Order, Amendment, Bill, 2023, aiming to include 4 communities in the Scheduled Tribes, SCT, list in Jammu and Kashmir. The proposed inclusion of the Gadda Brahman, Koli, Paddari tribe, and Pahari ethnic group has sparked apprehensions regarding the distribution of reservation benefits. What is the process and criteria of inclusion in the SCT list? Criteria for inclusion in the scheduled list, determining whether a community qualifies as a scheduled tribe, is based on several criteria, including ethnological traits. The community's distinct and identifiable ethnological traits are considered to establish its tribal identity. Traditional characteristics, traditional practices, customs, and way of life are examined to assess the community's adherence to tribal culture. Distinctive culture, the presence of a unique and distinctive culture that sets the community apart from other groups. Geographical isolation, the community's geographical isolation is taken into account to assess its historic and continuous presence in specific regions. Backwardness, socioeconomic backwardness is considered to evaluate the level of disadvantage faced by the community. However, the Constitution of India does not define the criteria for recognition of STs. Process of adding a community to the SCT list. The process initiates at the state or union territory level, where the concerned government or administration recommends the inclusion of a specific community. The proposal is sent to the Union Ministry of Tribal Affairs for examination and further deliberations. After this, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, through its own deliberations, examines the proposal and sends it to the Registrar General of India, RGI. Once approved by the RGI, the proposal is sent to the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, following which the proposal is sent back to the Union Government. The inclusion of any community in the Scheduled Tribes list takes effect only after the President assents to a bill that amends the Constitution, Scheduled Tribes, Order, 1950, following its passage in both the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. What is the status of Scheduled Tribes in India? Constitutional provisions. Article 366(25) it only provides a process to define STs. STs means such tribes or tribal communities or parts of or groups within such tribes or tribal communities as are deemed under Article 342 to be scheduled tribes for the purposes of this Constitution. Article 342. 1. The President, with respect to any state duty, after consultation with the governor in case of state, may specify the tribe's tribal communities part of or groups within tribe's tribal communities as a scheduled tribe in that state duty. Fifth schedule. It lays out provisions for the administration and control of scheduled areas and STs in states other than sixth schedule states. Sixth schedule deals with the administration of the tribal areas in Assam, Meghalaya, Tripura and Mizoram. Current number of officially recognized scheduled tribes. As per Census 2011, there are 705 ethnic groups officially listed as scheduled tribes under Article 342. The STs constitute 8.6% of the total population and 11.3% of the rural population. Related legal provisions. Protection of Civil Rights Act, 1955. Scheduled Castes and the Scheduled Tribes, Prevention of Atrocities Act, 1989. Provisions of the Panchayats, Extension to the Scheduled Areas Act, 1996. Scheduled Tribes and Other Traditional Forest Dwellers, Recognition of Forest Rights, Act, 2006. Related government initiatives. Eklavya Model Residential School, EMRS. Pradhan Mantri Adi Adarsh Gram Yojna, MAAGY. Pradhan Mantri Jan Jatiya Vikas Mission, PMJVM. Development of Particularly Vulnerable Tribal Groups, PVTGs. UPSC Civil Services Examination Previous Year Question, PYQ. Monsoon, El Nino and their impact on agriculture. Why in news? The 2023 southwest monsoon season in India started late, with the initial 2 weeks experiencing a significant rainfall deficiency of 52.6% below the normal long period average, LPA. However, as of 30th July 2023, there was an overall 6% surplus rainfall. This turnaround has positively impacted Kharif crop plantings. However, concerns persist regarding the potential impact of the approaching El Nino phenomenon on Rabi crops. What is the long period average, LPA, of rainfall? The IMD defines the LPA of rainfall as the average rainfall recorded over a specific region for a long period, like 30 or 50 years. Based on this, the IMD classifies rainfall into 5 categories on an all India scale. Normal or near normal, rainfall between 96 to 104% of LPA. Below normal, rainfall between 90 to 96% of LPA. Above normal, rainfall between 104 to 110% of LPA. Deficient, rainfall less than 90% of LPA. Excess, rainfall more than 110% of LPA. What are Kharif and Rabi crops? Kharif crops. Kharif crops are sown during the monsoon season, from June to October, and harvested in the late summer or early autumn. They depend on the southwest monsoon for irrigation and growth. Major Kharif crops include rice, maj, sorghum, pearl millet, bajra, finger millet, ragi, groundnut and pulses like pigeon pea, arhar, and green gram, moong. They account for about 55% of the total food grain production in India. Rabi crops. These crops are sown around the retreating monsoon and northeast monsoon season, which begins in October and are called Rabi or winter crops. The harvest for these crops happens typically during April and May, during the summer season. Major Rabi crops are wheat, gram, peas, barley, etc. A warm climate is required for seed germination and cold climate for the growth of crops. What is the impact of monsoon on Indian agriculture? Positive impacts. Increased crop production. A major portion of the country's crop area is completely dependent on monsoon rains as they are not equipped with methods of manual irrigation. Adequate rainfall during the monsoon season leads to increased soil moisture and promotes the growth of crops, resulting in higher agricultural output. The availability of water supports the cultivation of a variety of crops, including rice, wheat, millets, and pulses. Economic boost. Successful monsoon seasons contribute to rural prosperity by providing income to farmers and laborers, which, in turn, stimulates demand for goods and services in the rural economy. This increased economic activity has a positive impact on overall national growth. Recharge of groundwater. The monsoon helps recharge groundwater resources, which is crucial for sustainable agricultural practices in regions where water scarcity is a challenge. Negative impacts. Erratic monsoon patterns. The monsoon's timing, intensity, and distribution are unpredictable, leading to uncertainties in agricultural planning and crop management. Delayed or early monsoons can disrupt planting schedules and affect crop yields. Droughts and floods. Monsoon failure or excess rainfall can lead to droughts or floods, respectively. Both scenarios can be disastrous for agriculture. Droughts result in water shortages, crop failures, and reduced yields, while floods can damage crops, wash away fertile topsoil, and lead to livestock losses. Crop losses. Prolonged and excessive monsoon rains can cause crop diseases, reducing crop quality and yield. These conditions also hinder farmers' ability to conduct agricultural operations effectively. Soil erosion. Heavy rainfall can lead to soil erosion, which depletes soil fertility and affects agricultural productivity in the long run. Soil erosion also impacts water bodies and can lead to siltation in reservoirs, reducing their storage capacity. Food price inflation. Inconsistent monsoon patterns can affect crop production and lead to shortages, resulting in food price inflation. This can have adverse effects on the economy, especially for low income households that spend a significant portion of their income on food. What is El Nino and its implications on agriculture? About El Nino is a climate phenomenon that occurs irregularly in the tropical Pacific Ocean, characterized by the warming of sea surface temperatures. It can have significant impacts on weather patterns around the world, including India. The Oceanic Nano Index, ONI, reached zero point 0.8 degrees Celsius in June 2023, surpassing the El Nano threshold of zero point 0.5 degrees. Global weather agencies forecast El Nino to persist and strengthen through the 2023 to 1924 winter. Impacts. Temperature extremes. El Nino is often associated with higher temperatures in some parts of India. Elevated temperatures can adversely impact crops, leading to heat stress and reduced yields, especially for sensitive crops like fruits and vegetables. Pest and disease outbreaks. El Nino conditions can create a conducive environment for certain pests and diseases that affect crops. Warmer temperatures and altered precipitation patterns can lead to increased pest populations, posing additional challenges to farmers. Impact on livestock. Reduced availability of fodder and water scarcity during El Nino can affect livestock and animal husbandry, leading to lower milk and meat production. UPSC Civil Services Examination, Previous Year Question, PYQ. Schemes for farmers' welfare. B. Why in news? Recently, the Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers' Welfare has informed Lok Sabha that a comprehensive range of central sector and centrally sponsored schemes have been implemented for farmers' welfare. What are the central sector and centrally sponsored schemes? Central sector scheme. Central sector schemes are based on subjects from the Union list, and they are formulated by the center. These schemes are designed, planned and completely funded by the central government. Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojna, Pradhan Mantri Ujjwala Yojna, Khelo India scheme are some examples of the central sector schemes. Centrally sponsored scheme. Centrally sponsored schemes, CSS, are schemes that are funded partially by both the central and state governments. It is basically a channel which the central government uses to help the states run their plans financially. In these schemes, a certain percentage of the funding is provided by the states, although most of it rests with the center. The amount of state participation varies from state to state. Their implementation rests on the union territories and the states. What are the key government schemes for farmers' welfare? The Pradhan Mantri Kisan Samman Nidhi, PM Kisan. The PM Kisan scheme aims to provide income support to all landholding farmers' families across the country to enable them to take care of expenses related to agriculture and allied activities as well as domestic needs. The scheme provides a payment of Rs 6,000 per year for the farmers' families with cultivable land holding, subject to certain exclusions. Farmer Producer Organizations, FPOs. The government launched the Central Sector Scheme, CSS, for formation and promotion of 10,000 FPOs in the year 2020. Formation and promotion of FPOs are to be done through implementing agencies, IAs, which further engage cluster-based business organizations, CBBOs, to form and provide professional hand-holding support to FPOs for a period of 0-5 years, including preparation and execution of business plan for the concerned FPOs. Agriculture Infrastructure Fund, AIF. 1 lakh rupees crore Agri-Infra Fund was launched in July 2020 under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan. The AIF is a medium, long-term debt financing facility for investment in viable projects for post-harvest management infrastructure and community farming assets through interest subvention and credit guarantee support. National Mission on Edible Oil Palm, NMEOP. It is a centrally sponsored scheme, launched in 2021 to promote all palm cultivation for making India Atmanirbhar in edible oils with special focus on northeastern states and Andaman Islands. The mission will bring an additional area of 6.5 lakh ha under all palm plantation with 3.28 lakh ha in northeastern states and 3.22 lakh ha in the rest of India in next 5 years from 2021 to 2022 to 2025 to 1926. National Beekeeping and Honey Mission, NBHM. It is a central sector scheme launched in 2020 under Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan for its implementation in the field for overall promotion and development of scientific beekeeping and to achieve the goal of sweet revolution. UPSC Civil Services Examination Previous Year Question, PYQ.